Hi yogis, welcome to Limitless Yoga Studio Online. My name is Kelsey Wright. This is Watson, and we are going to bring you a class for twists today. So knocking the rust off the spine, getting you flowing and going, feeling really good through the entirety of the back. So all you're going to need for class is 2 blocks, and then put on your favorite playlist and we will get started. Go ahead and lay on back in whatever comfortable position is best for you. Some of us might want to have our legs out nice and long. Others might want to bend the knees and plant the feet, especially if your low back is a little bit cranky. We're just going to take a few moments here to bring the brain and body online, to prepare the nervous system for practice, and of course to cultivate that breath. So when you're ready, close down the eyes, get comfy in your space, make any fidgets and wiggles that you need. And then immediately turn your awareness inwards and just notice the body. See if you can scan down, see what's going on today, and if there's anything that you can do to influence it. This might mean lengthening the back of the neck a little, getting heavier in the shoulders, maybe dropping the jaw and the tongue. Check on the legs. We really like to hold them in place as opposed to just letting them go. So double check that everything is as soft and relaxed as possible. Then begin to notice the breath. As you inhale, are you able to fill up the belly, the ribs, and the chest? On the exhale, are you able to squeeze out all the old air? Next inhale is going to be a little bit more because you've created space. So stretch the lungs out, sip up as much as possible, and then slowly exhale it all out. We're going to spend a few more cycles of here building that breath. Each inhale to your max capacity, maybe even feeling a stretch across the belly or between the ribs or across the heart space. Maybe as you exhale, you do so completely that you feel a little squeeze in the pit of the belly. Take 3 more cycles of breath, each inhale bringing in what you're going to need for practice, preparing the body. Maybe you start to exhale anything that's swimming around the edges of the mind, maybe something that might keep you distracted. We want to create a blank slate here, unplug. Take one last big cycle of breath with the intention of keeping this kind of breath throughout the rest of class. All right, when you're ready, open up the eyes, reach the hands up overhead, give me a big old full body stretch, reach to the fingers, reach to the toes, feel out the length of the spine, and then exhale the knees into the chest. We're going to start by wiggling the toes and rolling out the ankles, getting out any pops and creaks here. From here, I'll tee the arms out, drop both knees over to the right for our first twist. Left shoulder is going to stay grounded, gaze is up at the ceiling. Take a big inhale to lengthen the spine. On your exhale, get heavier in the twist as you squeeze out all the old air. Firming up the belly, bring the knees back to center. Go ahead and kick your heels up and down a few times, just working a little bit of length through the backs of the legs. Once they're a little bit more cooperative, we're going to bend the knees and take the twist in the opposite direction, watching out for a corgi that's in the way. Right shoulder stays grounded. Give me a big inhale up the spine and an exhale to twist. Firming up the belly, bring the knees back to center. This time, push the heels up and hold this hamstring stretch. We're going to reach the fingers to the toes. My right hand is going to tap the left pinky finger. My left hand is going to tap the right pinky finger. So as I go back and forth, I'm getting a little bit of twist through the rib cage. I'm starting to warm the obliques. I'm going to keep my neck neutral here and my breath even. I'm here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. My right leg's going to drop all the way flat against the floor. The left knee's going to bend. We're going to take it across for our second twist. Left shoulder stays grounded. Gaze up at the ceiling. Inhale to lengthen the spine. And exhale, maybe get a little heavier in that leg for the twist. All right, bring that leg all the way back to center and back up towards the ceiling. Okay, we're going to do that same crisscross pattern, but with just one foot. So right hand to pinky toe, left hand to big toe. I feel like I'm rocking back and forth over my shoulder blades here. My belly is firm, and I'm starting to feel the side bodies wake up. We're here, 3, 2, 1. That left leg is going to drop, and the right knee is going to be brought in. Take it across the body. Find your twist as best you can with the obstacles in the way. Big breath up the spine. Exhale, you're squeezing all the old air out, kind of like a sponge. You're wringing yourself out. Firming up the belly, bring the knees back to center, and straight leg towards the ceiling. One more set of these guys, right to left and left to right, back and forth. Maybe reaching past the foot if you'd like. We're here for 3. We're here for 2. And last 1. All right, bring both knees into the chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. I'm going to rock up and down the spine a few times, just kind of bringing the body and brain online through each and every vertebrae, and then I will pop myself up to a seated position. Once I'm seated up nice and tall, I'm going to relax the chin down to the chest and roll at the neck. My shoulder blades will stay heavy down the back, even though they really want to creep up towards my ears. I'm going to switch directions here to get out any last little crackles I have. When I'm completely finished, I'm going to sit up nice and tall through the spine, stacking the ears to the tailbone. All right, hands behind the back of the head, firm belly. I'm going to start to a gentle twist right and left. So imagine your rib cage spiraling through the axis of your spine, heart to the right side of your mat, heart to the left side of your mat. Reach through the crown of the head. We're here for 3, for 2, and last 1. Bring it back to center. Hands reach up towards the ceiling. I'm going to twist towards the right, so my right hand becomes a kickstand. My left hand presses into my thigh bone to help me turn. On my inhale, I'll sit up taller through the crown of the head. On my exhale, I might be able to twist further as the air leaves the body. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, twist in the opposite direction. So now my right arm is pressing into my leg to help me turn my ribs. What I'm not doing is just cranking into the neck. Sometimes that makes us feel like we're twisting further, but we're really not. All right, inhale up, hands up. On your exhale, go back over to your right. This time, find your max twist and pause. You're welcome to stay here, or I'm going to engage my obliques, the muscles that are squeezing me into the turn. I'm going to see if I can lift up my hands, and my obliques are going to keep me in this twist without me kind of recoiling back to center. Inhale, hands up. Exhale in the opposite direction. So find your max twist, and again, you're welcome to stay here, or I'm going to really engage my obliques, that twisting action, and then see if I can keep the exact same twist as I lift my hands up and hold for 3, 2, 1. Bring yourself back to center. I'm going to head over to hands and knees, so find your way to tabletop position. We're going to take the shoulders stacked on top of the wrists. We're going to take the hips and stack them on top of the knees. I'm going to spread my fingers out so I've got gloves, not mittens, and then I'll put the gaze between the thumbs. On my inhale, I'll gently drop the ribs downwards. On my exhale, I'm going to push into the palms and arch the spine up nice and high. I'm going to continue to move down and up, flowing through the spine. And what I want to do is just be mindful that I might want to move the back in big chunks, but it's a little bit better to try to articulate each and every vertebrae so we make sure that everybody's getting a little bit of attention. Every single one is doing their job. We're making sure that each link in the chain has some movement. After this last one, go ahead and meet me with a firm belly and tabletop. I'm going to take my right foot back just as a kind of a kickstand here. I'm going to inhale my right hand up to twist. Now I'm going to do my best to keep my hips stacked here as I twist underneath the rib cage. This is going to feel like a pretty big twist because we've got that full arm action and that shoulder as I'm turning the rib cage. Now take the hand behind the back of the head. Act like your elbow wants to go to your opposite elbow. This might feel like a smaller twist because we've taken the arm out, but we're actually kind of honing in on twisting with the rib cage rather than anything else. Okay, last one. And then we're going to bring that hand down. I want you to square off your hips. So if you need to, take your left hand and make sure they're flat. Then I'm going to take that left hand up. So this is a closed twist. This is where my upper body is going in an opposite direction than my lower body. This might feel like a much bigger twist because of that action. We've got to turn in opposite directions here. Bring it all the way back to hands and knees, and we'll do the second side. All right, so back to that cat-cow action. Curl the toes. We're going to add an optional lift. Inhale, drop the ribs. Exhale, push, arch, and then squeeze your ribs and your obliques so much that maybe the knees lift up off the floor. So if you want, you can add in that lift. We want to try to make the lift more about the side body squeezing rather than the legs doing all the work. So it might mean that you don't lift as much as you think you should, but it's going to be in the right muscle group. So think squeezing the ribs and arching the back to like 110% of your pose. Last one here, and you're done. Left foot stretches back. Inhale, left hand comes up. All right, keeping that stack of the hips, we're going to reach underneath the rib cage. It's a nice big twist. This is our open twist, where both sides of the bodies are twisting in the same direction. And then we're going to take the hand to the back of the head, this time elbow to elbow. So again, it might feel like a bit of a tighter twist, but that's because we're honing in on twisting with the rib cage rather than maybe twisting with the neck and low back. Okay? And this last one, we're going to square our hips off. So again, if you need to take the right hand and make sure that is so, do it. And then inhale, right hand comes up. Now that left hip's going to want to drop down. Avoid that again with that flat low back. This might mean that you don't twist near as far as you think you can, but we're going to do it safely. So the upper body and lower body twisting in opposite directions. Okay, bring it on down, and then hands and knees. Take a moment to truly hug your shoulder heads into their sockets so they're prepared for the weight. Then we'll step back into plank with feet hip distance apart. Take a big inhale. Exhale, press the hips high into down dog. I'm going to take a second to walk out the calves just to make sure they're not grumpy. I'm just walking the feet on railroad tracks here, pressing through one heel and then the other. Then as I settle down on my down dog, I want to be careful that I'm not locked out in the shoulders. Sometimes we will lock the shoulder blades down the back fiercely. Other times we'll push them up into our ears. We really want that 50-50 buoyancy, so we're utilizing the muscles we need and not locked out and compressing the joints. When you're ready, meet me at the top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. And then exhale, hands to the back of the head. All right, so I want you to take a little bit of just a relaxed twist. Use anything at your disposal in terms of ribs, hips, neck. Just find this massive twist and just see how much, without any force, how far you go. We got a lot of mobility here. Okay, so now pause, see if you can lock out your hips so your hip points stay facing forward. See if you can just twist with the rib cage. This is going to be a lot less of a twist, which sometimes can be frustrating because we think we need more. But this is where we safely want to twist kind of in that mid-back area so we're not dumping into our flexibility and we're staying in our stability. All right, so just remember the feel of that. Okay, feet hip distance apart for our sun A's. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees if you need. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, right foot steps back, drop the right knee. We're going to inhale, rise up. I want you to lengthen the spine like a slinky, as much space as you can possibly get. Keep it that way as those karate chops come down. Left hand's going to swing open, keeping the shoulder blades down the back. And again, make this twist about the rib cage rather than the neck. Okay, after this next one, we're going to pause and then create a sword that we're going to slice over to the left. Now I want to push my thigh bone out into my arms before I open up and spiral the chest towards the ceiling. This is going to make sure that my arm isn't bullying my knee in towards the middle of my mat. All right, bring it back down, hands on either side of the foot. Slide back into plank, rock to the tiptoes. Feel free to drop the knees first if you need to lower to the belly. I'm going to glue the toenails to the floor. I'm going to lift the belly button up off the mat. 3 cobras, roll the shoulder heads back. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. What I'm trying to do is utilize my upper back muscles rather than dump into my lower back muscles. One more. Rise up and relax. I'm going to bend the knees, and I'm going to windshield wiper the knees right and left in these really big motions here, kind of rolling over the quads, getting a little bit of twisting action. And then as I come down, I'll curl my toes. Again, maybe you use your knees to lift up back into plank and to press back into down dog. Lengthen everything out. As you look forward, step forward with your feet hip distance apart and keep the knees bent. Right hand goes down. Inhale, left hand goes up. Big twist here. Bring it on down, switch it out. Right hand comes up, big inhale. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. And we got one more sun A. So exhale, bring it down. Again, bend the knees if you need. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop that knee. Rise up again, thinking about that slinky spine that we're creating. And then karate chops go down. Right hand swings open, kind of like you're opening up this big swinging door. We've got a total of 3 rounds utilizing the rib cage. After this third one, glue your palms together, slice that sword over to your right, immediately press the thigh bone out into the arm before you open up your wingspan, spiraling the rib cage up towards the ceiling. Big inhale. Exhale, hands come down on either side of the foot. I'm going to slide back into plank, rock the tiptoes, lower to the belly. Elbows are going to kiss the ribs on the way down. Gluing my toenails to the floor. I've got my cobras again. So this time, as I roll my shoulder heads back, as I inhale, lift, I want to be careful not to squeeze the glutes too hard. Sometimes we like to lift, utilizing those a little bit more than maybe we should, especially if it feels grumpy in the low back. One more up and down. Curl the toes. This time, you're only going to bend the right knee. You're going to come up over and across like you're trying to tap the floor or the corgi, and then bring it on back, set it down, switch it out. Left knee's going to go up, over, and across. So I'm going to do one more set here. Find your range of motion. My right side's not going to be quite as far as my left because someone seems to be taking a nap in the way. All right, with your toes curled under, come up into plank, use your knees if you need to, and press back into down dog. So a little bit different. We're going to step up with our feet mat distance apart, keep the knees deeply bent. Right hand down, left hand up. I'm going to press into my left heel until I feel a little bit of that outer left hip stretch, but I'm not going to lock the knee out. Bend the knees to switch it out. Right hand comes up. I'm going to press into the right heel, but not lock out that leg. Bend the knees to release. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, this is your opportunity to grab a drink, wipe your face, get what you need. I'm going to take the blocks and set them up at the top of the mat so they are ready to go for our sun bees. All right, so I'm going to give you lots of cues along the way, but just again, that little bit of a seed to plant that our body does like to twist into the low back, into the neck. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's where we need to be twisting, so be careful. We don't want to be sore tomorrow, so yeah, stay within your stability rather than kind of abusing your flexibility. Top of the mat, feet hip distance apart. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, have a seat in your chair, hands to heart center. We're going to twist here. Right elbow taps the left knee and left elbow taps the right knee. Now, if you take a peek at your knees, they should be strong and stable in space. If they're walking back and forth, that might mean that you're twisting into the low back. We got one more right, one more left, and then forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, your vinyasa. I'm just going to step back into down dog this first round, so you're welcome to join me doing that. Pressure through the thumb and index and that buoyancy in the shoulders. Inhale, right toes up in the sky. Exhale, tap your right knee to your left armpit. Give yourself a little twist. Then inhale, right toes up in the sky and kick it all the way through. Spin your back heel down. Anchor into your heels as you rise up and find your warrior two. I'm immediately going to check 5 toes pointing forward, knee through the middle of the foot. Take an inhale. On your exhale, hands to the back of the head. I'm going to start twisting, and I want to keep my eye on that front knee to make sure that as I'm twisting, I'm not wavering back and forth. Again, that's going to be an indication that you're twisting through the hips. So really keep that right hip squeezed up underneath you for one more round of twists, and then back to center. From warrior two, side angle, maybe dropping the right forearm, maybe fingers, maybe block underneath the hand. Again, I'm going to start a twist, so my hand's going to go underneath my legs, and I'll really pay attention to how my knee is moving. I want to make sure that right hip is really snuggled up underneath me so I'm not swinging and swaying in the hips. From here, I'm going to reach up, rise up, straightening out that front leg. Inhale, reverse triangle. And then exhale, come forward and down, hand on the shin, the ankle, or the pinky toe side of the foot. One more set of twists here. Snuggle that right hip up underneath you. And then again, twist underneath the legs, noticing the rotation of the rib cage and not any kind of movement through the hips. Last one. All right, from here, hands come down, bend the front knee. Walk to the middle of your mat. We're going to go heels in, toes out, rise up for goddess. Hands behind the back of the head. So with a firm belly, I'm going to start that twisting action. I'm going to check out my knees through the corners of my eyes so that my knees don't take this twist and it's in the rib cage where I want it. For 3, for 2, and last 1. All right, hands come down, walk to the top of the mat. I'm going to slide back into down dog and get ready to do the second side. Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, knee to right armpit tap. Bring it on up. And exhale, kick it all the way through. Spin the back heel down, anchoring into the heels. Once I know that front foot is good to go, I'm going to make sure that back heel is just a tick further back than my toes. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, start your twist. I'm going to keep an eye on that front knee to make sure that my twists are isolated to that rib cage area. Okay, last one here. Back to neutral. From warrior two, side angle, dropping the left forearm. You're welcome to stay here, fingers to a block or to the floor. Now this left hip's really going to hug up underneath me as I go underneath the legs. Pressing through my heels, squeezing and scooping that outer left hip underneath me. I got one more here, big rotation of the rib cage, and then I'm going to rise up, straight arms, straight legs, inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, bring it forward as far as I can before I lightly tap down on my shin, my ankle, or the pinky toe side of my foot. And then again, I'm going to solidify this left outer hip as I start to twist underneath. Big movements here. Try to keep that neck in line with the rest of the spine so it's not dragging down towards the floor. And then after this last one, bend the knees as the hands come down. Walk to the middle of your mat. All 10 toes in the same direction, this time right hand center stage. Inhale, left hand goes up. Exhale, dig underneath the rib cage and reach for the back of your mat. Inhale up, exhale down. Last one, inhale up, exhale down. Okay, switching it out. Left hand on the floor. Inhale, right hand comes up. Exhale, scoop underneath the rib cage. Okay, keeping the hips stable in space. We got one more big reach here. And then you're done. Hands come down, walk to the top of your mat. I'm going to slide back into down dog and lengthen it out. Looking forward, inhale. Exhale, bend the knee, step or hop to the top of the mat. Feet hip distance apart. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. Exhale, have a seat down in your chair. All right, this time it's a twist to hold. So right elbow is going to tap the left, and we're going to hold here, making sure one knee didn't pop in front of the other. With pressure to the heel, switch it out, left elbow. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, your vinyasa. I'm going to modify it this time, giving you some options. So I'm going to drop the knees from plank, open, broaden the chest, shoulder heads back in their sockets, elbows to ribs. So it's a place to start that vinyasa work. Inhale, right toes up in the sky. I'm going to tap the right knee to the left armpit and hold it this time. Just kind of hang out and squeeze those obliques, and then kick it back up in the air and through. All right, from here, pressure through that back heel as you rise up, crescent pose, wrapping the core around the spine for support. Big inhale here. Exhale, settle into your crescent. We've got 3 twists here. We're going to inhale, rise up out of crescent. Exhale, spiral to the right and come right back down. Inhale, rise up, long spine. Exhale, big twist to the rib cage, adding on a bit of stretch to the outer hips. Inhale up, exhale down. All right, this time inhale up, pause. Look at your blocks, warrior 3, bend, push, lift. We're going to reach the fingers, kick to the back heel, maintain that flat-ish low back. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, hands to the blocks. We're going to take that left foot and swing it up, over, and across. Bend the knees to stay buoyant and walk the blocks to the left side. From here, relax the chin to the chest. I want an outer right hip stretch. So the more I can kind of get sassy in that outer right hip, the more I'm going to feel. Or the lower the blocks are, the more I tend to feel. So you want to find a happy medium. Always a stretch, never a strain. Take one more big breath here in this outer hip stretch, which we're really going to need for that dancing Shiva in the next round. And then bring it on back to center. All right, that left foot is going to go all the way back. And we're going to walk to the middle of the mat. Okay, heels in, toes out. You're going to find your goddess. Big inhale. Exhale, hinging at the hips so the weight's through the sitting bones and the heels, similar to chair. We're going to take the hands to the kneecaps. Now, I'm realizing that this is about twisting the rib cage. We're going to turn right and left. So aiming your heart towards your knees. You want to be careful of turning this into a big shoulder shove and just kind of pushing that shoulder head to the front of the rotator cuff. We want to keep that healthy. So think about more rib cage twisting on this last one, and then hands to the floor. Okay, walk it forward. Down dog is a great idea. Or I'm going to side plank. So hugging that left shoulder in and down, slide back, keeping the hips nice and high to support, and then I'll see you in down dog. Okay, second side. Inhale, left toes up. We're going to take it over to that right armpit, hold and tap, hang out here, and then bring it up and kick it through. Put a lot of energy through that back heel as you rise up and reach through the crown of the head, stacking the shoulders on top of the hips. Big inhale here. Exhale, settle down into the pose. All right, we got those big spiraling twists. Inhale, rise up towards the ceiling. Exhale, spiral towards the left side of your mat. Inhale, rise up, lengthen. Exhale, twist, feeling the outer hips get a little stretch. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. Inhale up to pause. Imagine that warrior 3. Get it in your brain. Bend, push, lift. We're going to think about creating this letter T with the body. So rather than letting that right hip hike up, we actually want to turn it down. Big inhale here. And then exhale, hands to the blocks. We're going to swing that right foot up, over, and across, and then bend the knees. Walk the blocks over to the right. Now remember, your sides are completely different, so you might not need to drop the blocks to a lower setting. Maybe if this side is grumpy, we're going to bend the knees a little bit more. We're going to continue to push the left hip out away from the body. We're going to continue to relax the chin to the chest. Take that nice big outer hip stretch. All right. We'll walk the blocks towards the top of the mat and step the right foot to the very back of the mat. We're going to walk to the middle. This time, we're going to take all 10 toes, point them in the same direction, and take a good old forward fold. We want to make sure that we're pressing through all 4 corners of the feet so there's no spilling to the outer edges or caving to the inside. And then we want to stack our hips on top of our heels so our butt isn't sticking back behind us. We want that nice even stretch from sitting bone to the back of the knee. One more big breath here. And then I'll meet you at the top of the mat. Go ahead and walk it on forward. Again, down dog's a great option. I'll see you there. Or solidify that right shoulder. Find your side plank with yourself pushing up out of the shoulder joint. And then I'll see you in down dog. Lengthen it all out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and drop the knees here. I'm going to keep the toes curled under. My knees are in line with my hips. As I walk back, my heels are going to be in line with my sitting bones. And eventually I'll find a pause when I have that good foot stretch. It might be all the way up if that's comfortable for you. So we're going to be here for about 3 cycles of breath, and then we are going to come into, we're going to combine that cat-cow action with a twist to work us a little bit closer to side crow, which is what we have an option of at the very end of class today. One more big breath here. All right, bring it on back to hands and knees. We're going to keep those toes curled under. So you're welcome to just stick with cat-cow if that's what you'd like. You can do those cat-cow lifts, which we already did at the beginning of class, or we're going to add in the twist. So I'll need the balls of the feet ready to go. Inhale, gently drop into cow. Exhale, push, arch, and squeeze the side bodies until your cat gets light enough to lift the knees up off the floor. Stay here, or pivot on the balls of the feet so it's a twist, twist, and then we'll place it right back down. Inhale, drop. Exhale, arch. Option of lifting the knees, option of twisting the rib cage. Okay, we got 2 more. Inhale, drop. Exhale, arch. Maybe lift, maybe twist. Okay, 1 more. Inhale, down. Exhale, arch, lift, and maybe twist. All right, bring it all the way down to hands and knees. Okay, this is a perfect opportunity for you to uncurl your toes and take child's pose. You can hit the pause button. You can relax as long as you want. I'll see you when I see you. If you're ready for this last set that we have, you'll definitely want your blocks at the top of the mat. We're going to be coming into a revolved half moon. And it's going to be really easy to spiral into the low back here. So we're going to kind of practice it for a second on hands and knees while you have the availability of you to kind of feel out that low back. So with a block on your low back, you're going to take your right foot out and kick it. And this is basically your warrior 3 position. Your leg is back behind you, and you've got that even low back. Okay, I'm going to take what we learned at the beginning of class, a closed twist, where the upper body goes in the opposite direction of the lower body. So my left hand will go to my left hip. As I start to turn, I naturally want to drop that leg because that's the easiest thing for the body to do, and then kind of get into the low back. So what I want to specifically do is draw the belly button up, really lock and load the hips into place, and start to use the rib cage, which for some of us won't be near as much as we want. So we'll revolve, we'll revolve, we'll revolve, we'll pause, and this will be our maximal end without dropping that leg and getting into our low backs. Okay, so keeping that block where it is, let's do the other side. Left foot kicks back into that warrior 3 position. Belly button firms up, so everything is nice and locked and loaded here. Right hand to right hip, inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, start to turn the belly button towards the right. And again, we want to use that feedback of the hand on the hip to know if that hip lifts. We also have the feedback if that foot actually touches the mat. 1 more big breath here. And then slowly bring it back to neutral and place that block back where you found it. Okay, so we're basically going to do that standing up. Rest if you need to rest, or I'm going to hug those shoulders in, step back into plank, press back into down dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop forward, top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. Exhale, have a seat down in your chair. I'm going to take the right elbow, cross over, find my chair twist, watching that knee. Once I have my max twist, I can stay here, or I can lift that arm off of the leg and really squeeze the obliques. And then switch. Left elbow crosses. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist to find your max. Stay here, or really wring out those oblique muscles. Forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, your vinyasa. This time, if you'd like to follow me, I'm going to rock forward to the tip toes. Chaturanga, broadening the chest, thinking more like cobra in the chest than anything else. Up dog and down dog. All right. Inhale, right toes up in the sky. Exhale, this time right knee to left armpit. Hold it there, or tap that in range of motion for 3, 2, 1. Bring it on up and kick it through. All right, we're going to drop the back knee. Ardha Hanuman half splits, maybe grabbing the blocks. If your hamstrings are feeling okay with it, maybe you keep that back knee lifted as you curl the toes back. Maybe you're working on a different setting of the blocks. I'm pretty guilty of locking out that front knee, so I'm going to do my best to keep that micro bend so everything stays healthy in the joint. I've got 1 more big breath here. And then everybody make sure to get those props out of the way, back to the front of the mat. Here we go. Lifting that back knee, you're in a low lunge. Press to the back heel. Use the belly to wrap around the spine as you inhale, rise up and find your crescent. Exhale, hands to heart center, lean forward, left elbow cross your thigh bone out into your arm. You can hold here, or I'm going to look at the blocks, slide my back in halfway, and then energize through the ball foot, so ball foot here, or else you can do a calf lift on that back wall. Take a breath. That twisted crescent. All right. Inhale, hands up, rise up. Look at your blocks. Exhale, warrior three, bend, push, lift. As soon as you feel like you have warrior three, drop your hands to your blocks. I'm going to take my right hand and just ensure that my low back is good to go. Nice and flat. We're good. All right. From here, I'm going to draw that belly in like we practiced. My right hand goes between the blocks. Inhale. Exhale, grab your bow and arrow string and then pull that bow and arrow string back, recognizing if your left leg is dropping at all. And then I'm going to let that arrow fly right down into my floorboards. Scoop up the next bow and arrow string, pull it back, listen to your low back so you're not dumping into it, and then bring it back down. One more. Scoop up that bow and arrow string, keep the belly firm, find your range of motion, and then let it go. Whew. All right. Scoop that left knee into the chest. Use your core to draw you up to standing. That right outer hip's going to be tired and you're going to have to squeeze it just a bit more. Dancing Shiva, right hand's going to grab that thigh bone. Left hand's going to twist. Maybe you push the heel out. Maybe you even scoop up that pinky toe side of the foot if your hamstrings are okay with that. We're going to slowly let this all go. Hands to the floor, toes to the back of the mat, and then walk the middle. Heels in, toes out. Last goddess here. Get on down. Take a big inhale. Exhale, hands behind the back of the head. All right, so utilizing these side body muscles, I'm going to take my right elbow towards my right knee and maybe extend my hand down towards my heel. I don't have to. Bring it down. I can just stay there, or I can add in the hand if I'd like. Okay. Now, it's pretty easy to use a lot of your back muscles here and just kind of go to town. So see if you can nuance this to squeezing the side bodies, which might mean you don't move as big or flashy, but you're going to be getting more of the right muscles fired up. Last one. All right, bring it back, hands down. Walk to the front of your mat. Option one is down dog. Option two is to hug that left shoulder in, find your side plank, and then add in the twist underneath the ribs for 3, for 2, and 1. I'll see you in down dog. This is our last side and our last set. Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, take it over to the right armpit. Choose to stay here or tap. 3, 2, 1. Toes up and kick it through. We've got that hamstring stretch. So blocks or no blocks, back knee or no back knee, those are all your choices. I'm going to leave that up to you. And it's fine if you have to take one option on one side and something different, especially if you're rehabbing a hamstring injury or something just feels a little more delicate today. Take another big cycle of breath here. And then let's make sure those blocks are ready for us at the top of the mat. Here we go. Punch through your heel, crescent pose. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. That slinky spine is lengthening. Exhale, hands to heart center, lean forward, right elbow crosses. Now push the thigh bone out into the arm bone. Stay here or look forward, slide forward. Twisted flamingo, I've got to squeeze that outer left hip. It's my anchor here as I energize through the right ball of the foot so both my calf and my quad are firm. As I slowly drop it back down. Inhale, rise up, get tall. Exhale, warrior 3, bend, push, lift, reaching through the fingers, through the back heel, and then hands to the blocks. If you'd like to feel out your low back, great idea. And then from here, firming up the belly, left hand drops between the blocks. Scoop up that bow and arrow string, pull it back, and then just be mindful that your low back is desperate to help, basically. He's saying, hey, we've got more rotation back here if you want it, and you really kind of have to resist the idea of just doing naturally what the body is saying, hey, this is the tendency, but we're saying, no, we're going to be just a little bit more mindful about twisting through the ribs. All right, hands down. I'm going to scoop that right knee in, utilize that core to pull up into a standing position, and then dancing Shiva. Left hand grabs the thigh bone, reach back, stay here. Maybe kick through the heel, or if you'd like to scoop up the pinky toe side of the foot and work towards extending through the heel. Inhale up the spine, exhale, twist to the rib cage. All right, slowly release what you have. Toes back behind you. Option 1 is down dog. Option 2 is going to be that side plank, maybe with that twist underneath the ribs if you'd like. And you're always welcome to drop that bottom knee if you need to. After your 3 twists, I will see you in your last down dog. Lengthen it out and then drop the knees. Okay, so you are welcome to try this next pose, or you can fast forward to the cool down. Beauty of online yoga. But I'm going to walk you through a twisted crow pose, essentially. It's side crow. And there's a couple different things that might help you get into this pose. the biggest part is being able to twist to your fullest capabilities, which is why we warm up the whole class with twists so that you have the best shot at this pose. All right, so here are my little keys to success. I'm going to start on the balls of my feet, and I'm going to inhale up, again, thinking about that slinky idea of the spine, inhale up. And then on my exhale, I need to take my twist so that I'm trying to square my shoulders off with my thigh bone here, because my thigh bone is going to be my point of contact. If you're familiar with crow, we want the knees and the armpits to create that structure. For side crow, we're twisting to the side, so now our thigh bone becomes a part of that structure. Okay? So inhale up, exhale, twist to your max capability, squeezing out all the old air. I'm going to take my right arm and try to tap my thigh bone, so I need to snuggle, 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 snuggle until that thigh bone is through the middle of that arm bone. Then I'm going to think plank in the hands. So plank distance apart, shoulder distance apart, hugging those thumbs in towards one another. Now from here, I want to take my gaze forward. For some reason, we have this tendency to stare at our feet. But if you think of yourself like an airplane where the nose goes, the rest of the body goes. So if my nose is down, I'm going to go down. I want my nose to go forward. So I'm going to push the balls of my feet, kind of launch myself forward a little bit until I have weight in the hands. Once I have here, I'm going to work millimeter by millimeter, reaching through the nose. Now the feet are actually pretty important here. I want to lift the left before the right, and I'm going to turn sideways so you can actually see why that is. So once I have my position, I lean forward. The body wants to lift the easy one, but then all my weight is trapped up underneath me, and it's really hard to lift that leg. So if you do the opposite, if you sweep away the heavier kickstand, the one that your body doesn't want to lose, then you've got this nice light kickstand that you can keep pulling through your nose and eventually maybe come up off of the mat. Okay, so I'm going to do the other side, kind of smoothing out all the cues and everything, and then you can do that as many times as you'd like. Just be aware that at some point your shoulders and your wrists might say, you know what, I'm good. And at that point, you just are respectful of that, and you're done. Okay, so for the second side, let me turn this way so you can see a little better. All right, this time I'm going to inhale up the spine. Exhale, turn, left elbow is going to snuggle, snuggle, snuggle until that thigh bone crosses the arm bone. I'm going to make sure that I have a really legit plank positioning. Some people like to take the hands closer together. That might feel safer, but then you have a smaller base. So make sure it's really, really plank. Then I'm going to use the balls of my feet to push the weight into my hands. And then I'm just going to work millimeter by millimeter through my nose. I'm going to really push my snoot forward. My right foot curls up first. That's the heavy kickstand. I'm going to keep going millimeter by millimeter until my left foot says, oh, wait, I'm not needed either. I'm going to keep my elbows hugging in to the midline, keep pulling through my nose. And it's just a teeter-totter. When I'm done, I just put more weight in my feet and I come right back out of it. Okay, so feel free to give that a shot if you like. When you're ready to cool down, go ahead and meet me seated on the mat. We did a lot of twisting, obviously. So we're going to lengthen out those side bodies now. Cool ourselves down and head for Shavasana. Best part, Watson's been in Shavasana for the last 45 minutes. All right, we're going to take that right hand and drop it down and take that left hand up, over, and across. I'm going to spiral the chest up towards the ceiling, look up underneath my armpit, keep the shoulder blades down the back, and then actively breathe into that side of the ribs. So that inhale is going to stretch out a bit more. And then I'm going to switch it out. Drop the left, reach with the right, spiraling the rib cage up underneath the armpit. Take a peek as I breathe into the side body. I'm going to do it one more time. This time, if you'd like a little bit more, you're welcome to bend the elbow or even drop the elbow. But since we're cooling down, we're not trying to, Hulk out on any of these things. We're just trying to kind of counter what we did the majority of in practice. Big breath here. All right, we're going to go across diagonally this time. So right hand to right knee, left hand up and over. So I'm feeling this down the left side of my spine. Then on that same diagonal, left hand to left outer hip, right hand up, over, and across. I'm going to feel this down the right side of the belly. Okay, opposite diagonal, right hand to right hip, up and over, feeling this on the left side of the belly. And then cartwheeling, left hand to left knee, right hand feeling this down the side of the right, or the right side of the spine. Okay, bring it all the way back up. And then clear out anything that you don't need for Shavasana. So getting rid of blocks or water bottles. If you need to turn down the lights, if you need to get your playlist changed, go ahead and take care of all those things now. And then don't skip this part. It's so easy with online yoga to just say, never mind, I got stuff to do. But these last few minutes are the most crucial. It really does wrap everything together, but it also helps that nervous system so very much. So when you found your comfortable position, you're going to inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, grab a hold of the right wrist. Shift your shoulder blades over to the left corner of your mat, and then create this candy cane shape with the spine. If you'd like to walk the heels over to the left, creating more of a banana shape, go ahead and inhale the entirety of the right side body. All right, bring it back to center, full body stretch, inhale. And then exhale, grab your left wrist, shift your shoulder blades all the way over to the right corner of your mat. Shoulders are grounded, everything's heavy. Maybe you walk the heels over, usually deepens the stretch through that left side. Take an inhale. And exhale, release. All right, bring yourself back center. One more big symmetrical full body stretch. And then exhale into your Shavasana position. All right, find what's most comfortable for you. This is a position you should pretty much be able to fall asleep in. And then with the eyes closed down, relax the muscles of the face, dropping the jaw, dropping the shoulders, dropping the feet off to the sides. The idea of Shavasana is to go from this height of activity all the way down to complete stillness as flawlessly as possible. We want to try to do this as quickly as possible, knowing that we can regulate the nervous system in that way. So we always start with the breath because the breath dictates how the body responds. Use these deep cycles of inhales and exhales to know that you are sending signals to the nervous system that you're safe, that you're grounded, that you are ready to find stillness, and that there's no need for it to stay on high alert. Spend as many cycles of breath getting to that point of max inhale and max exhale before then sending those exhales down the body like little sonar waves, just collecting information. Can you feel the mat under the body? Can you feel the clothes? Can you feel any jewelry? Can you feel any temperature changes between the floor and the mat? Any pressure changes between the heels and the calves? Basically, we just want the brain to get an inventory list, head to toe, so that it feels a little bit better about slowing down. With everything relaxed and with your breath even, go ahead and anchor on to your single point of focus. That's something that you know that you can stay here with. That could be counting the breaths. Maybe you are listening to music. You could be saying something positive over and over again, like, I am safe, or I am enough, I am still, I am ready. Or maybe you visualize something peaceful, like listening to ocean waves. We're going to be here for just a few more moments, combining the stillness of the body with the mindfulness of the breath and that anchored central point of focus. Keeping your eyes closed. Go and take another cycle of breath down the body, and I'm just going to encourage you to find at least one thing that feels different from the beginning of class when we were laying and breathing. Maybe something feels more connected with the mat, something feels more relaxed, maybe something more fatigued. And then once you've recognized that benefit, kind of feeling grateful for the work that the body was able to do, Begin to make a little movement in the fingers and the toes. And then as you reach up into a full body stretch again, I'm going to encourage you to try to see if there's one thing that feels a little different, maybe in the shoulders and the spine where our focus was, maybe in the hips or low back. On an exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. Feel free to rock right and left if that's most comfortable. And then when you're ready, we're going to roll over to the right side using the right arm as a pillow. This is our all-important moment to hit the reset button, to recognize that we leave the mat a better version than when we stepped onto it. So with your next inhale, gather up what you're going to need to accomplish that purpose. And exhale, whatever it is that you wish to leave behind today that might get in the way of that goal. When you have what you need, we're going to rise up into a seated position, sitting up nice and tall, with the hands to heart center, relaxing the chin down towards the chest. We lower our head as a gesture of gratitude. Gratitude for what we have, gratitude for who we have, and gratitude for another beautiful day to enjoy all those blessings. It was my honor to lead you through class. To end, we say the word that simply means that the goodness in me will always look to see the goodness in each and every one of you. Namaste.